Greek mythology, a rich tapestry of gods, goddesses, heroes, and monsters, has been a subject of fascination for centuries. However, it is often misconstrued as a hidden religion. To debunk this, we must first understand the context of its origin. Greek mythology originated in ancient Greece around the 8th century BC as part of the Greeks' attempt to understand the world around them. It was not a religion in the traditional sense, but rather a collection of stories and legends that explained natural phenomena, cultural traditions, and historical events. The Greeks did not worship the gods and goddesses of their myths in the same way that followers of organized religions worship their deities. Instead, these mythical figures were seen as powerful beings who could influence the world and human lives, but they were not viewed as moral or spiritual guides. The Greeks did not have a holy book, like the Bible or the Quran, that outlined a moral code or provided spiritual teachings. Instead, their myths served as cautionary tales and moral lessons, illustrating the consequences of hubris, deceit, and other negative traits. The Greeks held numerous festivals and rituals in honor of their gods and goddesses, but these were not acts of religious worship as we understand it today. Instead, they were a way of pleasuring these powerful beings and seeking their favor. Sacrifices, for example, were common, but they were not expressions of faith or devotion. They were practical actions intended to win the gods' goodwill or avoid their wrath. Greek mythology was not a unified belief system. The myths varied widely from region to region, and even from city to city. There was no central authority or doctrine that dictated what people should believe or how they should practice. This lack of uniformity is another key distinction between Greek mythology and organized religions. It's also worth noting that Greek mythology did not offer answers to existential questions or provide comfort in times of crisis. It did not promise an afterlife or offer a path to salvation. The gods and goddesses of Greek mythology were imperfect beings who often acted out of self-interest, not kind gods who cared for the welfare of humans. They were respected and feared, but not loved or honored in the way that religious followers love and honor their gods. In most religions, faith is a fundamental component, a belief in the unseen, the divine, the transcendent. However, in Greek mythology, there is no such concept. The gods were not transcendent beings. They were very much part of the physical world, with human-like emotions and failings. They were not omniscient or omnipotent, and they did not demand faith or obedience from humans. Another critical aspect to consider is the lack of a religious hierarchy in Greek mythology. In most organized religions, there is a clear hierarchy of religious leaders who interpret the religion's teachings and guide its followers. In contrast, Greek mythology had no such structure. There were priests and priestesses who conducted rituals and sacrifices, but they did not have the same authority or influence as religious leaders in other cultures. Lastly, Greek mythology did not have a missionizing component. The Greeks did not seek to convert others to their beliefs or spread their myths beyond their own communities. This is a stark contrast to many religions, which actively seek to spread their teachings and gain new followers. Greek mythology, while deeply embedded in the cultural fabric of ancient Greece, does not fit the definition of a hidden religion. It was a collection of stories and legends, a way of understanding the world, and a part of cultural traditions, but it did not provide a spiritual framework or moral guidance. The gods and goddesses of Greek mythology were powerful, influential beings, but they were not divine in the religious sense. It was not a religion, hidden or otherwise, but a rich and complex system of myths that helped the ancient Greeks make sense of their world. Be sure to check out our other videos as well, and be sure to subscribe if you enjoy our content. History, but fast.